Hello, everyone. Welcome to ITS 140. All right, so today is our very last time that we're going to meet. And as you know, the plan today is just to wrap up the presentations. So that's all we have on the agenda. So at this point, I think there were a few groups that were still left to present. I'll remind you, again, just make sure. Remember, we have an exam on Tuesday from 12:30 to 2:30, right? You can always check by going on Google PNW final exam schedule and look up the time for Tuesday at noon. So it'll be, the exam is at 12:30. So remember, it'll be the same type of exam, final exam. It's comprehensive. I'll come in for a few minutes just to kind of show you where everything is, and then I'll let you guys do the exam. And that will be it. That's the end of the semester at this point. I'll repeat at the end of class today, but be on the lookout for some surveys, exit surveys. So those will be on your email, will be one, and then there will be two ABET related surveys that will be posted on Brightspace. So Brightspace is new this semester for us, and I still need to figure out how to do that in Brightspace, but hopefully between today and tomorrow, I'll have them loaded up, and then I'll either send out an email. So I'll probably send out an email saying they're posted, but they should also appear somewhere in Brightspace, probably in the announcements section. So that's what I'll try to do. And so make sure to fill those up, and then I'll have a chance before the exam to ask you if you filled them out. And that's it. That's the end of the semester. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. And, I think we had 3 or 4 groups left, so you can just go ahead and take the rest of the time. All right. So who would like to go first?
We can go.
All right. Thank you. So just state the names of your team members, and then you can start.
It says screen sharing is disabled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is always disabled. All right, now it should be better.
Okay. You guys seeing it?
Yeah, so just I want to stress everyone must present, okay? Do not miss today. Okay, let me get the names so I can,
All right.
you can see them there. And then you should change the projector so it doesn't show like this.
All right.
No, if you go back, I can show you. Yeah, so all you have to do is when you enable it, turn it back on. Go to the top where it says display settings and pick yes.
All right. So we did our group did Hangman. So then the purpose. So to create a program that incorporates concepts learned in class. The concepts we used, some of them were arrays, loops, and modules. And the goal was to show overall understanding of these concepts.
So this is the rules for our Hangman game. In the picture you can kind of see the start of the game where it explains the rules and kind of starting the game. But the rules are you're going to guess a letter based on the amount of underscores shown. You only get 6 chances because that's the amount of chances that would like create an actual like person in the real Hangman game. And then you only lose a guess if you guess the letter wrong.
These are some screenshots of our program. And then, so in the introduction, so a random word is chosen out of a list that we have. And then, so then that's the word you would guess. And here's a picture of the MISC variables that we have.
This page is used to show like the modules that we use to kind of simplify the actual code. The first one actually takes the code and appends it to a file, or takes the user's name and their score and puts it into a file. And then the next two just print out like a winning or losing statement. And this is just showing what they come out as. So you could see like the username and then their score, and then the winner, congratulations, you win, and then the sorry, you lost, you did not guess the word in the correct amount of tries.
Yeah, and so here we have our input validation. So like if you were to input a number, it would tell you to only enter letters. And if you enter 2 characters, it'll tell you to enter only 1 character. And there's an example on the side.
Here we use like if-else statements. So if the character guessed was in the word, it would like actually replace it.
And here you can see that's what it looks like when the code is running, replacing the blank with a letter.
And then this is just to show how our program loops. So on the top, you can see that when you have more than 0 turns left, it'll continue to loop the program until you reach 0. And then you can see that where the user puts their guess in, and then where it determines the user's score. And then also we point out that the 2 if statements determine if the user continues the game or if they are done with the game and what statement is printed for them.
All right, and then we're going to play the game. So this is going to require some participation. So for the name, we'll do just ITS. So we need somebody to come to say a first character for us to guess.
And it's all Christmas themed words.
T.
A.
T?
A.
A?
Yeah.
It's incorrect.
T.
It's correct.
C.
C?
E.
Dang it.
I.
It's correct.
L.
G. H. S.
You guys won. And then, so we can go over to like the scoreboard over here. And if we refresh it, we'll see that you guys got a score of 300. And that's pretty much it.
Very nice job. Great, excellent. Can we go to the code? Just a quick look at it. All right, so you have, okay, you're reading files. You got functions, lists. You do input validation somewhere?
Yep.
Okay, got it. All right. Got while loops, if statements, scroll down further. You have a dictionary?
Yep.
Very good. Excellent job. Do you guys have any questions for this group? Aside from wanting to buy their game? No? All right. Excellent job, guys. Great. Great job. All right. So who do we have next?
Okay, so for our here are our names, and then this is just the title slide. Let me know when I can get off of it.
All right. I got the names. Thanks.
So some information, like this is what our program is supposed to have, just the input, outputs, decision structures, modules, arrays, files, input validation, and iterative structures.
Our background is we designed this program to assist in calculating someone's budget. So it takes your weekly costs, your weekly and monthly costs and compiles it against your pay we ask your pay rate by your hour and how many hours you'd work to know what you have incoming to then give you your overall budget and show you either how much you overspent, how much you have left over, or if you've met it.
And then this just kind of restates a little bit more specifically of like what is the project is going through. So like weekly or monthly subscription could be childcare costs, phone bill, and then you're going to have how much you have left over, or how much you don't. And then I was going to share the screen to Emily to be able to do to show the code, because I am not good with Spider.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen here. Needless to say, my group did a very wonderful job with what they had. However, having programming experience, I decided to go a little bit overboard by designing a UI. And I bit off more than I can chew. I mean, my code here is 540 lines. So I'm having an issue when I'm running it. I have a variable set to hello?
We can hear you now.
My Zoom just crashed and my computer just opened like a ton of stuff. I'm not sure what happened. So I apologize for that. I mean, yeah, I didn't lose internet connection or anything, so I don't know. I'll go ahead and because it's a little pop-up thing said Zoom quit unexpectedly, so I have no clue what happened. But I'll go ahead and how do I do this? Here, share screen with the code here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and walk everybody through the code.
I think her Zoom crashed again. I don't know what's going on.
Do you guys want to take a few minutes to sort this out and then we can come back to you?
All right. Do I go?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. So my name is Ubaid, and our groups is Sebastian and Camden. Professor, real quick, Camden could not make it. He actually got in a car accident, and he was unable to make it to class. He was going to email you after he got home, but he wanted us to let you know that.
Sounds good. Go ahead.
All right. So our game is rock, paper, scissors. So just a little bit of background on how the game itself will work. So it's going to be you, the user, versus the computer, essentially. You will have unlimited attempts, or the user can just play until they are fully satisfied. And instead of saying rock, paper, scissors like you would in real life or counting to 3, what you do is essentially just pick a number that represents the choice that you want to make. And then obviously the computer will take care of the rest.
Okay, the rules are basically the same. We should all know how to play rock, paper, scissors, but here's an example, and just in case anybody doesn't know how to play. Rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, paper beats rock, and a tie can also happen if the computer happens to choose the same thing as you. Next slide. Okay, and some additional information, the user or the player, which is you, will always go first, and the computer choice is always random. So it doesn't matter what you pick, it has no correlation on what the computer's gonna pick. It's not rigged or anything, it's just random. And for the numbers that were mentioned earlier, rock is equal to 1, or 1 is equal to rock, 2 is equal to paper, and 3 is equal to scissors.
Then here is the actual code itself. So we'll go ahead and run it real quick.
Oh wait, the code isn't showing, it's just the PowerPoint.
Oh, what the heck? Okay, hold on 1 second. Is the code showing now?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the code itself. I went ahead and ran it real quick. So it's prompting us over here to put in the user turn. And then after that, we'll go ahead and enter the choice. So I just clicked 1 for the user turn, and now it's asking if you want to play the game, yes or no. Go ahead and click yes.
Clicking yes just restarts it, and you can keep doing that as many times as you like. If anybody wants to play or
Yeah.
try it, you can volunteer. If not, we can just do a few more demos of it.
2.
Okay. So
The computer on that one.
okay. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. And then if you just go ahead and click no, we don't want to play another game. No, just say thanks for playing.
And that's pretty much it. And a simple but fun way to play rock, paper, scissors.
You have an endless loop, so you can go ahead and keep on playing forever if you want.
All right, great. Can we take a look at the code just really quick?
Sure.
All right, so you got loops, conditional structures. All right, scroll down a little bit more. Keep going. Functions. Go up.
Sure.
Go up more. Way more. All the way up. right, so you don't have any functions, right? Are you writing to files?
I think Camden added that, but I guess maybe he forgot to save it because he just told me like before, like all the way back on the weekend before this week even started. He said he added it. I guess he didn't save it.
All right. So, all right, great. Are there any questions for this group? No questions? All right, great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, how many groups do we have left? And we do have a question about submitting everything. So remember, you have to submit all of this. I'll create a Dropbox. I'll try to create that today or tomorrow. But you have until the day of the final, basically on Tuesday, to submit all your files. So that's your slides, your code, and a report. Just basically, explaining what you did, a few screenshots of your term project. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. I'll try to actually, at the same time, put the surveys and the links so that all of you can do both at the same time. Okay. So check your email for the surveys, but also on Brightspace, you'll get 2 surveys, and then you'll get this link for the report, and that should be it, except for the final exam. All right, so that is the chat questions. Let's do the following again.
All right, I'm gonna try sharing it on my screen, and then Emily is gonna walk us through that part. I'm not very good with Spider. So here's our code. I hit this.
All right, so what our program does is it uses the TK Inter library, which is a graphical user interface library that's used to create things such as menus. We used 3 elements that are, we used 3 objects that are within TK Inter: label, entry, and button. So Stephanie, if you can, go ahead and please run the code. It should work.
Where this thing pop? Oh, does it not show?
So at the bottom of your desktop, wherever all your open icons are, there should be a little picture of like a file, not a file, but like a piece of paper.
You guys can't see it? It's on my screen. It's in front of the Spider.
I think it's because it created a new window. What you're sharing is just the Spider window.
When you share screens, you have the option of sharing the entire thing or sharing just, yeah, there you go.
All right, so the way this works is you enter your hours worked, pay rate, and hourly pay rate to calculate your budget. Why is that? Stephanie, did you grab an older version?
I don't think so.
Because there are things that are missing here. It'll take me like 20 seconds here. Yeah, I've put in for this project, I've probably put in about 18 hours.
Just 18 hours?
What do you mean just 18?
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see. I don't know which one I'm supposed to download, but
it's the most recent zip file, the actual version that works. Finally got everything settled. The way that entries work within TK Inter is that it reads it reads the lines upon activation of a button. So that's why for every single field that we have, every single entry field, there's a submit directly underneath it. So Stephanie, if you can, go ahead and click create a brand new budget. What this does is it clears out all of the folders and just writes a line to them saying cleared. So when we add our weekly, monthly, and paycheck, it will remove that. So if you will, Stephanie, go ahead and type in entries for all of the entry boxes and click submit on each one of them.
Does it have to be capital? Doesn't matter.
No, it's go ahead and click create brand new budget again. Go ahead and read the label that is above that text box. That is what you want to enter.
Oh, okay. You want me to enter something for all of them?
Yeah. Go ahead and just enter valid things in. Because we do have a catch for these. So when you submit on all of these, there is no confirmation text that is displayed because I did not have the time to program that in. So if you hit that button more than twice, it will create multiple entries of that same number. Because needless to say, TK Enter did not work with me well. I actually had to get the advice of my dad, who works with Python as part of his job, and he had never used this library and did not understand it. And yeah, we were up until 12:40 in the morning working on this, and the previous day I'd stayed up till 2 a.m. So you hit submit on all of the entries. Now go ahead and click the add monthly payment button. It'll tell you weekly payment entry has been logged. Go ahead and add weekly. Weekly payment entry is logged. I forgot to change the log text to match the monthly, but you get the idea. It's saying that it's been logged. And go ahead and click the add paycheck button. And now click the calculate budget button. Okay, go ahead and do create brand new budget. And go ahead and go ahead and click that submit on everything once. Yeah, and then go ahead and click all the ads once. And add paycheck. Oh, you need to add paycheck and then do calculate budget. Okay, so add paycheck is not working. Great, okay. Let me go ahead and see what's going on here. Okay. I'm so sorry that it's not working properly. Go ahead and close it and run it again.
Maybe just do a simple scenario, maybe one entry or two at most, and just see if it does the calculation.
So go ahead and enter the stuff in the center first. Yeah, you'll need to click the create brand new. And then do submit on the hour and then the pay rate and then do add paycheck. Why is that? And on my, for me running it through Spider, when I enter it, it displays paycheck has been successfully logged. Great. I don't know what the error is, because it is not displaying for me, and we literally have the same exact version of the code.
Right.
Okay, Stephanie, let's go ahead and do some impromptu, real quick fixing here. Stephanie, if you can, on Spider, on the top right side, there should be a there should be like things that say variable explorer, help, plots and files. Do you see that? Stephanie? Am I having problems again?
We can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Stephanie, are you there? Yeah. Okay, I can't hear you. What you need to do is go to where it says file, open the tab that says files, and double click the monthly, paycheck, and weekly. And double clicking them should open them in Spider, but it seems like it's not for you. Oh, jeez. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and then monthly. Okay, what I want you to do is get rid of the cleared text and just empty it on all of the files. Just delete it all. And go ahead and save each of them. It's just Control S to do a hotkey to save. And go ahead and go back to the budget calculator and run it. All right, now go ahead and enter the stuff. Do not click create brand new budget. Just enter the hours worked and an hourly pay rate and submit those and do add paycheck. Okay. Value IO operation on closed file. Okay. What I'm going to do, Professor, is I'm going to restart my computer and try running this because it is working on my end. So I'm going to leave now.
Sounds good. Please.
Yep, I am very sorry about all the waiting. All right, so. Okay, it's seemingly just screen sharing itself that is crashing on my end. I can't even screen share without it crashing, and I really only have Spider and Zoom open on my computer. That is it. I have nothing running in the background. So I've done all that I possibly can here.
So can someone else in your group just screen share the code and then you walk us through or something like that?
Yes, please. Stephanie is aware that at least I don't know if everybody else can, but at least I can't hear her.
We'll do this. Yeah, so but she can hear you. So have her just scroll through the code. You explain it. I'll take a look at it, ask the questions, and then if you can't run it, just create that video that you said later and send me the link. I'll post it for everyone to take a look at. Sound fair?
Alrighty, that's fair. Alrighty, so Stefan, if you can, do you see where create window, the first function is? Just go ahead and scroll down to where that's at the top. Because the top of the code there is just importing tkinter and creating the first window. So the way this program works is it's taking labels to display all the prompts. And it's taking the tk entries, which is those tiny little text boxes where the user can enter data. And what it does is it is linked to the button element, which runs what's called a command, which uses Lambda. This was probably the hardest part of the code, was actually getting the buttons to run, because I had no clue what Lambda was. My dad had no clue what Lambda was. We spent about 3 hours learning about it. So what Lambda is just saying is, hey button, what we want you to do on click is run the on button function, which is below create window. So what this does is it takes the entry, for example, the first one here at line 52, where it says on button, parentheses, weeks and month, M weeks. What that does is it takes weeks and month, which is our entry, and it takes M weeks, which is our list. And what on button does is that it takes the entry and uses TK's get function to take the entry, because the entry is an object, and it reads the string that is within it, which is what the user typed, and it passes it to our list M weeks. So what this does is every time you click the button, it adds one singular entry to the list. So if you can, Stephanie, go ahead and just scroll very slowly through create window. You can see here we have our monthlies. Go ahead and keep scrolling. And we have our paycheck, and go ahead and keep scrolling. And there are two buttons there at the bottom, calculate budget and create a brand new budget. So you can think of calculate budget as kind of our master button, in the sense of the calc total function that it runs takes all of the entries that we have put within our arrays that are read by the like sub buttons of add paycheck, add weekly expense, add monthly expense. So if you can, Stephanie, you see where it says def write to weekly file. Go ahead and scroll, so that's at the top where it says the comment is start write to weekly file, weekly.txt. Thank you. All right, so what this does is we used as a way to get around using global variables. We take in the function definition, it takes date, names, and fees, which is 3 arrays that were within our menu creation, and it passes them over. So what this does is we go ahead and find the what it does is in order to get around problems with constantly having to clear files when the user doesn't prompt to clear files, it counts the number of new line characters. So what this is in a text file, a new line character is whenever in a text file, when you hit enter, that creates an invisible character called new line. So what this program does is it counts how many entries are already within the file. And so it counts it. It counts it by creating it counts it by creating an array. It takes, not an array, pardon me. What this function does is it reads the file and passes all of that data to a variable. So we can see, so the program can see everything that's within the text file in this one variable, and that includes new line characters. So then it uses the .count function to count how many new line characters there are. And what we have it do then is let's see. Okay, so what we have it do is do the at line 148 there. When it reads, you can see right below at 151, it immediately closes it. So what we did was we just created a copy of everything that's in the file. So down at 159, where it says open, weekly.txt is A. So the way that files work, you can only do one thing at a time to it. You can only read it, or write, or append. You can't do a combination of them. So what we do is, so we say, okay, we already have how many entries there are within the file. So now what we want to do is add our user entry into that file, and the code below does that. So what it does is it first makes sure that there's an equal number of name and fee entries by comparing the length of names to fees. That should be equal because when the user enters the data for creating a weekly entry, it should have one of each. So if it has multiples of them, Stephanie, if you can go ahead and scroll down, because this is a big if statement here. So else it's going to display a critical error has occurred. Please click the new budget button. So what this means is the user base, it's a way to catch user negligence, I should say. So Stephanie, if you can go ahead and scroll up a little bit, I'll go ahead and explain the if statement now. So if we know that we're equal, we're good to go. We're good to add this entry. So what this does is to enter, the way this program works is it enters into the text file the very last or aka, as I said on line 164, most recent entry, which is length of names -1, because we know that arrays start at 0. So what it does then is we go ahead and the new names, new fee, and new weeks. What that does is we tell the program, okay, take the last entry, because we're always going to be reading the last entry. We don't need to read the whole thing and keep adding to it, because then you're going to have a big bloated file, and it's going to be hard to use. So you can see in starting at line 179, we go ahead and add the entry to the file in the following format. So I use .format to add week expense number, which is it uses entry count, and above where it said if entry count equals 0, set that to 1, because it's just for readability purposes, and as long as that's consistent throughout the program, it should be fine. So what it does is it displays a text string that says week expense number, and the number of whatever entry it's at is name with the newest name, fees with the newest fees, and weeks with the newest number of weeks. So our next nested if statement in there, if entry count equals 1, what that does is we want to check and see if so we have our line to write, but it actually hasn't been written in the program yet. And in cases where the user is running the program for the first time or creating a new budget, we want to make sure that this entry is we want to make sure that the first entry will be the first entry. So what we do is we close fapply, which is just a write function.
So
Not write, it's an append function. So what we want to do is then open the file again, but as write. And what write does is it completely gets rid of whatever's in there previously, and puts our entry line to write as the first entry within the file. And you had a question, Professor?
Yeah, I do. So when you do these, are you always constantly writing, let's say as the program is running throughout, right? You're constantly, whenever you're doing the updates to the file, direct.
Yes.
So what I would recommend is that
you have the way this works is it runs the update whenever the user adds a completed entry.
Right. So you have an
and that's the way that it has to work.
And you add an entry and then you write to the file, correct? Something like that?
Yes.
So what I would recommend is that you do everything in RAM, and you only really try to read and write as much as is possible, at the end, let's say, because there's a lot of overhead sometimes with writing files, and it just makes it a little bit smoother, and your logic will be a little bit easier sometimes because you don't have to read and write. The other advantage of doing that approach is that, for instance, let's say you were using a dictionary for storing your data. dictionaries in Python are extremely efficient. They're hash tables. And that's one advantage. You take advantage of the power of that data structure. And remember, the pickle module actually allows you to just load that entire dictionary down to the file and back to the memory. So just keep that in mind I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm not at all saying this is wrong. I'm just showing you like an alternative path that you could.
Yes, I am aware of it would be easier. It would be not easier. It would be more efficient to write this to RAM. However, I do not know how to do that. And already using a new library, I'm like, all right, let's just use the basics of what I know.
All I'm
Because I
saying
was
with the pickle module, at the beginning, you load whatever dictionary you had in the text file, and now you have a dictionary. And then you just use the dictionary throughout your entire program. And then when you're done, the dictionary is updated already, you just write it. So it saves you the time of, having to split lines and things like that. It's just a suggestion, but something to certainly.
It's mainly the reason why I'm doing all these split lines is it's mainly the way that TK Inter works with entries. So if you were to, for example, tell the program to read the entry, to use the get function to read the string that's within it, when you run the program, it actually does it. It actually reads the entry before the menu is even created. And I was running into an issue where it was creating arrays with not empty entries, but entries where it's just a pair of single quotes.
Okay.
And this was how I got around it.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's just.
All right, so I'll go ahead and continue explaining here. So, yeah, it just writes it to the file, either first, or it does the in the else statement that is using fapply that is set as append. So it's going to append it to the file. So and then what we do is we want to on these button clicks we want something to be displayed directly to the user at the end to let them know that, hey, you clicked this button and it actually did something. That's why I was worried when Stephanie was running it and it wasn't displaying any labels when she was running these like main functions. If I had time, I would go back and add for it to display saying that whatever entry you put in has been added to the list. So we'll go ahead and continue with the monthly. So if you can, Stephanie, go ahead and scroll down where it says def write to monthly file. So this is almost the exact same as our write to weekly file, because again, it still takes three entries. But the difference between our weekly and our monthly is our weekly quote unquote date, which is the first list there that is being passed. In monthly, that is the date that the payment is due. And of course, that is read as a string. Whereas in weekly, that date is the number of weeks that are within the month, which means how many times that payment will occur. So there are slight differences between the two, but they do have a lot of code overlap. So it does a very similar thing where it counts how many entries there are and grabs the newest entry, adds it with the formatted string, and go ahead and scroll down, Stephanie. And we go ahead and have it tell us what to do. So it's very, very similar. So we'll go ahead and go to get paycheck here, which is our function to when we add the hours worked and our pay rate. So the way that this works is we're going to go ahead and have it count the number of new line entries. However, the way I have things written is that it writes 2 lines at a time. So what this does is it opens paycheck.txt as append. grabs the needed index, and tells you how many hours and pay rates there are. And now this is the problem where, for whatever reason, this file is not the file that I have, because what it also does is, let me go ahead and open on my side here, the paycheck. Very sorry here. Actually, no, I got rid of that. Okay, I'm just having the problem of it's one person working on this. I mean, my group has been awesome, but when it comes to using this TK interlibrary, I barely understand it, and they're absolutely lost looking at my code, and I don't blame them. So
Say about TK Inter, if you know, that was just, we covered that as a special topics just a little bit, right? So
yes,
you should have, and I'm not, you know, it's fine. You guys are done great, but so don't worry about your grade. But I'm just saying, a topic that's miscellaneous and it's only covered as a, hey, check this out, you know.
I wanted to try to be cool and
but
destroyed my sleep, but that's okay.
projects, maybe, you know, something that wasn't covered that much, just, I would say, just like have it as a here's how we do it in TK Inter, you know. But the fact that you embraced it as a whole and you really made it, you know, that's what caused you the problems, right? So
Yeah,
sure, with more time you would have figured it out, but you know, because of the time
yeah,
and everything. So what I would say is, you know, just that, I mean, programming sometimes is about just like planning like that. And so
yeah,
try it, you know, maybe when you do other, as you will do many other projects, what I
of
would say,
course.
don't put all your eggs in that
It
one.
won't- Yep.
Scatter it a little bit, and then that way it'll be less stressful for you, I think.
Yes, I was told that somewhat often by my high school programming teachers, because I am that person of I want to be cool, I want to show off, and I will hit my head against the wall until it is done. That's just how I am as a person. I'm learning how to improve on that.
You know, with programming, it's 80% debugging, right? And 20%.
Yes.
So,
It's 80%, hey, why is this line giving me an error? I've never seen this error before. And you go to the internet and then you get confused and you slowly begin to learn.
that's
It's,
my recommendation. And this is how you learn. So it's not a bad exercise. I'm just
yeah,
distribute out in your eggs, and you know, to stay with that metaphor, into different baskets. Maybe don't embrace this whole thing, because you know as I say, it's buggy. I mean, TK Inter, you know, if you remember, it was buggy, and it's nice. It's a nice novel thing.
yeah. A lot of the way things work, especially like buttons, they work very weird. The fact that you have to use lambda, I mean, I didn't know what lambda was, and my dad didn't know what it was.
Lambda is something that is very advanced. It's like a mapping.
Yeah,
But
we were trying to look up like information, and we were just like reading all of these websites, and we're like, we don't know what they're saying.
I didn't even cover that in the lecture, right? So I would say when you say
Yeah,
something like that, and I didn't even cover it, and don't even. I mean, that just walk away. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So take, you
I
know,
was like, at that point, I had dug my hole, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going until it's done, and be like, hey, this
but
is what I got.
you know, so for other many projects that you will do, certainly distribute out, right? So the great thing about programming is it can be modular, right? So
Yeah.
build a module, make sure that works, and then maybe do a little bit of the other one, but it'll just, you know, always run so whenever you are doing code, run a little bit, make sure that works, then add to it, okay? Because
Yeah.
once it starts getting big like this, it becomes
Mhm.
a monster, right? So
Yeah.
you know, that's just some advice. But so do you have any, are you guys are you going to cover anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of like blitz through the rest of this. So the rest of the paycheck function, that's where it was. I was confused for a moment of where it's at. I'm running on very little sleep. I'm very tired. It's where the line where it says calculate paycheck.
What I will say is, just when you make the video, you know, if you want to simplify this, you've seen the other presentations, right? So as you saw, I'm looking for very simple things, you know, just the use of these things, have it work a little bit. So when you guys submit that video, just, you know, simplify it, right? It doesn't have to be what, you know, even when you do a big project, you never get to the final objective, right? You have to make like decisions and figure out what you end up doing in the end. So definitely when you do the demo video and you send it to me, just, you know, maybe have a simplified version that runs, and then just now maybe explain the code.
Yeah. But for me, the version of the file I have does actually work properly.
Okay, so just record that then. That's
Yes, I will. Yes.
very simple. Excuse me, very simple demo, right? So your goal was to get some entries, calculate the budget, you know, that kind of thing. So just run it, and then yeah, finish your explanation right now with the code.
All right. So we go ahead and calculate our net pay, our taxes, and our total, which is net pay minus tax, which is the actual money that you are getting, and it writes it to the file and tells you, hey, it's been successfully logged. So go ahead and go to calc total, which is like basically the actual meat of our program here. So what we're doing is we're reading the files and saying, hey, go ahead and take everything in those files, find the information we actually need, and add them to lists. And along the way, we have a lot of validation here, saying that if it can't find any paychecks, display that. Tell the user that it cannot find any. Please create one and try again. And that's for all of our different types of information that's being entered. So as well as paychecks, it is the weekly and monthly budgets as well. So the main majority of this is just trying to tell the trying to tell the program how to read the files. So Stephanie, if you can, go ahead and scroll down very slowly. As you can see, a lot of it does repeat. Because all the files are separate, that's just how it is. It was a lot of string work using index, snip, split lines, things like that. So what this does here, you can go ahead and stop right here, Stephanie. Thank you very much for that slow scroll. What we're now going to do is calculate how much over or under our budget is, display the due dates for monthly payments, and also display our due dates for monthly payments, and also say what our weekly payments are. That's more of a debug thing, but I think it's still nice when you actually run the program to show the user everything, you know, an organized way of everything that they entered, so they can make sure that they actually put in all of their monthly payments and the correct dates, and all the correct weekly payments as well. So what this does is when you run, it'll tell you if you are over or under your budget with that first if else there. So if running total greater or equal to 0, it'll go ahead and say you have, you know, how much ever money left over, or you have 0 left over. And the else displays how much you are over your budget as a positive, so that it's easy to read. So what we also do is the due dates shows when those monthly payments are due, because they're only due once a month. So go ahead and just scroll down ever so slightly. This is the very last of our code here. So what we have is our new budget, which clears all the files. And what this does is it just empties everything, but the fact that it's not really working as intended means that it's just, hey, the way that this can work right now is just empty those text files when you want to create a new budget and don't want to carry over any of your previous entries. And those very last 2 lines there are extremely, extremely important. So we call create window, which if you recall, was where all of our labels and buttons were. And we tell the program, all right, run that function and display everything, and then do tk main loop, which means that tells the program, okay, create the window and keep it open until the program is actually manually closed. And that is the very last of our code. And yeah, that's the whole thing. And I can't wait to like show how it runs on my end because it's very cool. And that's it.
Great, great. So great job, great job. I will say with tkinter, Python is not a language really made for GUIs. Python is a
Oh,
language
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
for quick prototyping, scripting, like configuring servers, things like that. For data science, very strongly for that. Good for, very simple. It's not C, obviously doesn't have the efficiencies. It's sort of an interface to C to make things easier. When this type of project, like a budgeting thing like this one, would be better suited for a web application, honestly.
Yes.
Like page-driven, JavaScript, PHP, that kind of web app. So when you take your courses, 110, 362, 450, you will see those kinds of things, and because websites are very much event driven. They're very much,
Yes.
tkinter, as I said, it's kind of a nice novelty. Even C#, when you guys take that course, I don't remember the name, the number, but that one also has a much better GUI type of
Yes, it does.
So definitely here, as I said, I would recommend, it's great, but just keep that in mind that Python is more for like quick prototyping, very powerful libraries for all kinds of things, and like great for data science and other areas like that. You'll see it again in a lot of courses, and when we do the Linux course, we use Python for that, for sysadmin, and so, but it's not going to be any new programming constructs, right? It's always, that's the great thing about programming, is that it's always going to be these same ideas, for loops, if statements, and you will always just be doing them. All right, great job, great job. Do you guys have any questions for this group? All right, so please then just remember, guys, to send us the demo so that I can post it. Otherwise, we are done for today. Just a new reminders. Again, I will post the link for you to submit your files for this project. And also, I'll be sending out, posting the links on GitHub somehow for the ABET surveys. And that's it. We're going to stop here for today. And we will, so look out for those emails sometime between today and Saturday. And then don't forget your final exam on Tuesday. Okay, guys? All right, so I'll stay for a couple of minutes if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, we are done for today, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.
I could see very quickly that a lot of people are leaving, but I just kind of want to like say something really quick. My birthday is tomorrow. I'm turning 21. I just wanted to like say that. So, yeah.
Great.